feel like this is always a pretty fascinating series, right? Because Dark is such a, fair to say, right, such a beast when it comes to StarCraft, and such a, aggressive, kind of dramatic player. You know what it is? It's like, to me, MaxPax, maybe not fully, this might be a bit of an extreme comparison, but he's almost like a Protoss Dark, right? Where he plays kind of his own style, he doesn't get put off, he plays his own style, usually kind of, includes a few kind of aggressive games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit weird because, like, it feels a bit weird to say in a way, but it's like, I actually do feel like the more I think about it, it's like MaxPax to me is kind of like a bit of a Dark Protoss Dark, because Dark, again, just the way he plays, the way he gets aggressive, the way he's, very aggro and stuff. I don't know, to me it just kind of matches up quite nicely, so I don't know. Like I say, kind of might just be a bit of a wild comparison, but I kind of feel like I like it. So I always feel like it's fun to see two aggressive players, whether you agree with that previous statement of mine or not. I always feel like it's very fun to see two aggressive players up against each other, because when they both play in their own styles, in their own ways, you can obviously see a lot of, a lot of success and failures, because they're both playing weird builds against each other. It can get very interesting very quickly, so definitely intriguing. You've seen our Nexus core, everything coming up right here. As we just get settled these early few moments. Obviously nothing too wild just yet, as Hatcheries, Pools, Nexus, and Cybercores finish. We'll get maybe a bit more of an idea as to what is about to happen. But for now we're just holding out. For now we're waiting to see. And it should just be a few moments and we should be able to move in towards some fun stuff. I got a couple drones that are chasing this probe away, but this is just a forward base from Dark, which is obviously just because MaxPax blocked him, so there's really nothing too crazy about that. It's going to be seeing the Twilight Counselors on the way in here as well. Just bringing this through, and obviously immediately a Twilight Counselor is very much so a very MaxPax thing as well, very expected, I guess, in a lot of ways. And just something you can absolutely expect when MaxPax is in play. He loves playing these Glaive Adepts, and is one of these players that will just play the Glaive Adepts more often than most, I think that's what it comes down to. Is the first couple of links get in, I mean, obviously fantastic scout probes have to pull to fight those and to deny those. Those few links that you continue to chase that Adept out of here. Run, Adept, run! Get away! Be free. Gonna be seeing our Adept not really having too much luck initially. Resonating Glaives is on the way up. And as that Resonating Glaives comes out, we are just going to be seeing the continuation into everything else as well. So just continue to see our investment into the Glaives, a ton of extra gateways. There's going to be 5 gates, which is a little bit of an odd one, because usually we talk about like the 6 gates, but it's going to be 5 gates, so a little bit interesting for sure in that regard. Yes, we'll see how this turns out. Obviously, with 5 gates, I mean, it kind of works the same as 6 gates, just... oh, no, it is 6 gates now, sorry, so we did actually add the extra one at some point, so we are going to go to 6 gateways here. This is going to be kind of the expectation. Yeah, 6 gateways is obviously very scary, because if the Adepts kind of get away from you as Dark, then it's very difficult to deal with, because the Prism can warp in 6 more Adepts, and 6 Adepts on their own can be enough to be very scary and very convincing, so that alone could be perhaps a bit of a problem. Let's just see a couple of these Adepts coming through, and not the greatest of start. 3 Adepts going down. We kill a few Zerglings. Obviously, only 3 drones at the moment, and these Adepts now going down as well. Dark Shrine coming in on the follow-up, so Getting that Dark Shrine ready. Our next stage of this coming online. And set to go here. Prism coming through too. So yeah, I mean, it feels like the first wave didn't do much, but maybe with a few lane kills, maybe it's enough to then continue to deal some damage in these next few moments. Those will be seen very soon as the Adepts will threaten to shade on by. Wanting to get past and wanting to try maybe do something. So they shade by towards the natural ramp where they are going to be able to fight the Zerglings very efficiently. So be able to begin on that at the very least. And just going to be seeing maybe now a chance for some drones as well. Shading elsewhere. They're getting rid of the Ravagers, so they just took an efficient fight against the Zerglings now. A really good fight against some Ravagers as well. And Dog is building 10 more roaches because he doesn't currently have the defense he needs. He's down on drones, and these Adepts are running rampant in his base. And so this is looking very good right now for MaxPax, who has gotten off to a fantastic start here, putting himself in a very good position for the moment. I think this is just going to continue as well. These Adepts shade on by and just going to try to get a little more done. I'm just going to be seeing the 6 drones killed. Numbers just keep on rising up here in general, so it does look pretty decent as, I mean, yeah. Good amount of workers being killed. I'm honestly feeling as though we are not far from seeing Dog. Maybe even leaving this one, because now DTs are showing up. We do not have detection ready because we've been so busy with the Adepts. Oh my god, that was a desk slam in action, no? That was 100% a desk slam. No way. Wow. Well, my friends, that is what was GG. Deadly opening from. I wonder what MaxPax thinks when Doc leaves the game by I know, essentially just desk slamming. MaxPax is like, huh? Weird. MaxPax is the kind of guy that strikes me as just being like, huh. That was like, you know, that was weird. He said all these funny letters before he left the game. I don't know. Bottom right is Dark, and he'll be trying to bounce back from, obviously, the first game. That didn't quite go his way. We'll see if he can get some control of this back and going once again for himself. So, get this set on up. On the other side, MaxPax is already just blocking this base, and that's very much so an expected experience, so that's not going to come as a surprise to Dark. Obviously, pretty much you've got to be able to deal with this as a Zerg player in this day and age, otherwise you don't really know how to play the matchup. I think plain and simple, right? So, yeah, you just have to be able to deal with this kind of stuff. So yeah, dealing with it he is, puts that hatchery down, out in position, and it's going to be seen. Our probe continue to scout around for just a handful of moments. Going to come back across, going to drop down the Nexus there, and it's going to be seen again. Hatch, pool, etc. All of this being made for the moment. A lot of investment coming through in these early stages. Having our next coming up, and just going to be seeing our hatchery coming down. And just going to be moving our probe around the map, trying to see if there's anything kind of fun that can be done. Nothing really too crazy just yet, though, as we get all of this started. We've seen a Stalker on the way, and we are going to go Twilight Council again, so I suppose in that regard it gets perhaps a little bit more interesting. Twilight Council sets up Robo Facility on the way to just bring all of this straight into play. That's going to be seeing our Robo Facility coming through, so we are going to have ourselves, on the back of this Twilight Council, the potential to drop the Adepts, to drop DTs as well, potentially. As our Twilight Council is already up, it kind of feels maybe like we're going to start a Dark Shrine. Yeah, there it is. It gets lined up already, so it is indeed going to be a Dark Shrine starting as our starting point of this game from MaxPax, to just DTs into an Archon drop. Not just going, not going to bother with the Adept Glaive phase of this time around. So something a little interesting, something a bit different. Let's see, a few drones mining away pretty happily, and nothing really too surprising about that just yet. We've seen a couple of gates continue to come online, continue to get settled. And our first DTs will be ready to go soon. Obviously, a big part of this is trying to maybe fake the idea initially that this is Adepts, and if you can fake that this is Adepts, you can then obviously follow up into a position of, hey, well, check me out, I'm building Adepts, and then boom, I'm not building Adepts, and that's when you obviously get caught off guard, etc. And that's when you can do very well as the Protoss player, because there's no detection ready or anything along those lines. So definitely something of a factor to keep in mind. Here comes the Adepts and the DT combo, but the detection is up, running, available. Don't think that this is really going to be too much of a factor here. I think this one's going to be pretty easily handled, honestly, but I suppose we will find out for sure in just a moment. Just going to be seeing Ravage is able to do okay there. DTs take a little bit of damage. DTs are just going to continue to try and control the map, which obviously makes a decent amount of sense, right? May as well just try and stay in as control as possible over here. Makes a lot of sense, honestly. Just gotta... Oh, the Spore relocating. We can actually maybe be able to get this Spore. The Spore actually burrows to be able to relocate a little bit more easily itself this time around, so pretty cool little move. As you have our DTs just again being as annoying as they can be, considering they haven't really done any direct damage yet. Just trying to do as much as possible. They find themselves a Ravager here. And this is the best way that MaxPax is going to have a chance to still deal damage, right? If it wasn't for this, then you're just in trouble as MaxPax, right? Then it becomes way too costly a situation. You can't really allow for that, so you kind of need to be finding a way to do some amount of damage, and that's pretty much exactly what MaxPax, for the moment, is finding. Prison comes back around the other way. Dark is going to drop down a Spire. Something very different here, obviously. A very different approach as we continue by. Let's see our Prism making its way around, and just going to be taking our Spire again, about halfway done for now. Roach speed coming up and online. We've seen our Spire going to be completed almost before MaxPax really has any idea to truly figure out what's going on here, I feel like. Let's see, our Prism, couple of Archons still loaded up in that. Just waiting for that chance to try do something. Disruptor shots coming in, so I'm actually going to get the Disruptors here. I thought it was Archons, my bad. But yeah, Disruptors are going to come through and try to get some damage done. Let's see, this little army of MaxPax moving around here as well. Chance to see just what is going on. Chance to try and figure out what's currently happening. We're seeing a big push with the disruptors accompanying this. He does have obviously then potential to maybe get some damage done. So in we go. It's going to be seen our Mutila's showing up at the same time though, and that's going to be the issue. That's in part why this attack initially might work for MaxPax. That's obviously in part why it might turn into trouble for him as well. So a couple of possibilities could come out of this here. And we've seen the Mutas getting 13 probes initially, and obviously MaxPax's attack has turned around, but Doc is down on 3 bases, so he's going to be having to play from behind, but he does have the Mutas at least to then potentially help out further. It's going to be interesting as 4 drones died. I mean, MaxPax obviously losing, like I said, a good chunk of his initial economy that he had going for himself. We've seen these Mutas will continue to stay on the map and continue to look for opportunities and chances to get damage done, but it's going to be difficult with this force coming across the other side as well, so gotta be a little cautious here and there. Obviously, DT's still harassing around as well, just doing whatever they can, the best of their abilities too. Continue to push on forward. Just going to see a few of these Lings already going down, so unfortunately for them, not going to be seeing the better side of this game. Just going to be seeing the Muta's going to try and fight this. Going to go for the Archons. The Prism goes down, so we get rid of the reinforcement potential. Now we chase around this Stalk Archon force. The Roach on the ground, is that going to be enough to make a difference? Possibly. Very possibly. Just going to be seeing the Colossus still coming in charge as well. So MaxPax switching up his army and continue to make this very interesting here. Focus continue to gather up. Just going to be seeing some Roaches and Lings going to go on the counter aggressive. So they're going to come straight across the map and see just what it is that they can do. Stalkers again just continue to gather on up and just getting into very good numbers here. I mean, the more Stalkers we have, the scarier this becomes for Dark, who is still just kind of playing the Mutas and hoping he can keep this game busy and crazy enough that he kind of just gets away with it, right? So that's kind of the goal here of Dark, and I mean, it's working so far. I'm just worried about the one big attack. Like, how does he take the big engagement? You know? How do you take the big engagement without just getting completely overwhelmed, outmassed, and completely outdone? I think that's my problem. I just don't see how that really works, unfortunately. We've seen the Stalkers onto the map. I mean, I guess the Ling Roach is your answer, right? Your Ling Roach is the, well, this is how. It's just not like a very convincing way of trying to do something here. Is you have the student Muta's going to jump into the main base, and of course, just avoiding major kind of straight up fights is also potentially a way to make this happen. Yo, Harrison, by the way, thank you so much for the 6-month resub on the Prime. He has come out around this right-hand side and trying to find further damage and just trying to fight just a few of these Stalkers at a time, for example. Not doing very well with it. Just come back in. 11 probes go down, so again, damage continues to add up for the moment. The more that adds up, the better this typically becomes. We've seen our Stalkers able to find a good chunk of Roaches there, so clearing out a lot of those without many issues at all. And we still got them DTs. I mean, just obviously used them initially in the early game, but now able to find a way to do a little bit more with these DTs. You know, able to keep them going throughout, so it wasn't just that early game investment. There was more to it than that. Important to note as we do see, again, just this consistent trade of workers. I mean, 35 probes, 13 drones going down. If you can keep up the trades at least as MaxPax, you should be able to end up in a fairly reasonable spot. Just come back in, aiming for the super battery and just trying to make this as difficult as possible to stay alive against. The mutas continue to strike, the mutas continue to put in some hurt, some pain. Just going to be seeing the Stalkers get rid of some overseas as well. Scrappy, messy game, right? Stuff being left behind, stuff being forgotten about multiple times over at this point already, honestly. And just going to be seeing the Stalkers back through, chasing these mutalisks away, keeping them out of reach, and really making sure they're not going to be able to cause as much trouble as they would like to. Because these mutas want to be basically a pain in the ass, right? These mutas just want to go and not stop. And this is going to be having our Lings coming back in. Just going to be seeing the mutas as well coming back through. And his MaxPax running out of steam a little bit. Very possibly, actually. Very possibly MaxPax is kind of running out of steam here and not quite able to keep up to date with it all, keep everything going. I mean, there's Lings running by. He is killing drones at the same time, so don't get me wrong, he is putting in some work. The question will just be, is it enough at the end of the day? And that's, again, an interesting question to answer, right? Because there is not really a guaranteed answer to it just yet. I mean, it feels like Dog's obviously, I mean, his economy's hurting. 56 drones isn't amazing. But while 56 drones isn't amazing, neither does 23 probes. But MaxPax's standing army is good. If he can just get a chance to use it, the question is, will he just get a chance to use it? It's very plausible that the answer to that is just going to be a straight up no, of course not. And that's what's keeping this game very much so in a very interesting place. So we just come through, a couple more Stalkers going down, and Stalkers continuing by. And just going to be immediately seeing the blink across. I mean, I think at this point, the problem for MaxPax is he can't rebuild. So he's going to spend too much time chasing the mutas. And if he goes across the map, he's really not set up well enough to potentially play a base trade kind of game either. Losing the Colossi here, and again, just these mutas are bullying him. It got to a point where the mutas were able to bully him. I don't think this was always true. I don't think this was always the case. I don't think Dark always had this opportunity, but he's really carved this into a situation where that was the case. And he's done a very good job of maintaining that once he's got it going for himself. And since then, he's just never really let this slip at all. He's been very good about protecting, very good about keeping it going in his favor. And I think you've got to give credit to Doc in that regard then, because obviously, when that's the case, he's, like I say, done a pretty darn good job of keeping himself in a good place overall. So Doc takes the kind of setup in this game, runs away with it. GG's. And that's going to be a 1-1 scoreline, tied up and going to a game 3. Pax and Doc, we get into a final map between the two. So this was a round of 8 match, which means that the winner of this, it is best of 3 first of all. The winner of this gets to the semifinals, which we'll see if we cover that also in a little bit. And obviously we've got Doc here. MaxPax on the other side. Let's sell some StarCraft, huh? Hell yeah. Probe going around, having a scout, trying to see what's up, trying to see what's going on. Coming over. I'm just going to be seeing the gateway coming up as well. On the side of MaxPax, just getting that all up and ready to go in our early stages. Get this hatch down, get that rolling. And that's a proxy from Doc to obviously mix things up here at the start of this game number 3. So, like I said, to me, this is why it's fascinating watching these two play against each other, because they just play such similar kind of setups, right? I don't know. I feel like it's very, very fun. Big fan of it. Sweet. get ready to go. Let's see what this proxy hatch can do. Obviously, you expect potentially see. Yeah, you expect to potentially see some spine crawlers here. You know, you break through the front, and if you can break through the front, then the follow-up is very good for you. So yeah, once you break through the front initially, you can typically expect to be able to kind of, you know, flood lings in and then just have a very good time from there on out. So definitely expecting that to be a big part of these upcoming minutes. Forge and a battery goes down, so that's going to be MaxPax showing his kind of plan on how he intends to defend this initially. So gets that started. Spines will make their way forwards. Like I say, the link flood is coming up behind this. Obviously, there are other variations of this. You could, for example, see sometimes the other variations. For example, the roach kind of follow up to this and so on. But I feel like this one's one of the more popular ones. Just this kind of setup into some spine crawlers, get all that underway, get that going, and then just sort of go from there to see what we can do exactly. It's going to be obviously poking through the frontier. The battery taking some damage, the gateway taking some damage as well. So, yeah, some initial bits of damage being dealt for sure. And yeah, once these pathways open up, we really do, I think, begin to question just what exactly is going to come in next. So, see, as we knock down this gateway, we should be able to now break through. There's cannons in the battery, and it's kind of a wall off, so it's actually in a very cool place. So making sure that that is a factor as well. We've seen this pylon going down, though. That will create a little bit more of a problem. Spine's going to continue to chunk their way through this. Doing a good job of it so far. So good. Bane's going to try and bust through this. That's going to be that Dog's plan to try and get through this static defense quickly, easily, without a hitch, basically. But honestly, it didn't really work out so far. The Banes didn't all come in at the same time. Now he's going to go again. Super Battery Fit, and he gets rid of one of the cannons. Can he actually break through this position? This other cannon, for the moment, is just being held onto nicely, and it is not being allowed to slip away. So Bane continues through. Our probes coming in. The Adepts will be taking some extra shots. The cannon going down. Yes. And we've still got this spine crawlers to deal with as well. So that's one thing that MaxPax is still yet to do, really. Nipping away at the Nexus, so that's dealing a little bit more damage. And yeah, I mean, these spines are still just here, man. I mean, obviously there's two new cannons in the back. MaxPax eventually, I guess, probably has to give up his fourth base. No, this isn't fourth base. It's natural expansion. I was going to say it's the fourth line of defense of MaxPax. So there's cannons in the back, but obviously they're very far back now. Pulling away from this, we do have a Stargate now up, and we're getting a Void Ray. Obviously, that will deal with the spines. It will not deal with the lings very well, though, so that still will be something of an issue, absolutely. A couple of Banes about to finish. Going to start running towards these probes. The Void Ray pops out. We knock down a Baneling there as well. Chasing and aiming for the other one. Spine still going on the Nexus. A couple cannon shots going off. Lings being chased away. And everything in the main base of MaxPax is about to go down. As these Banelings will get denied, though, at least by the Void Ray. The two cannons will stop anything further kind of pushing, deeper in, I guess. Going to be seeing the couple Queens continuing to stand strong. Just going to see the Oracle coming out as well, so bringing all of this through. And we've seen now Void Ray helping to only make there's a couple more probes going down, so really keeping this active. A couple cannons will fight against these spine crawlers, and we'll keep this on the roll for the moment, guys. And we've seen 4 probes going down, a few lings continuing to cross and trying to get themselves involved in their own way. We'll see if they can succeed. I'm just going to see a couple of spines getting going as well, so a little bit of damage being dealt there. I mean, there's just like constant onslaught of lings as well, right? I mean, they are just not stopping, they just keep on coming. I'm just going to be seeing a few more Banes morphing in. I mean, eventually, surely we run out of ways to be able to deal with these, right? It feels like we should at least, but I mean, the Void Ray continues to shut them down. The Void Ray continues to stop these from being able to do too much. Get rid of one more. MaxPax still maintaining about 16 probes in this. Obviously, his entire natural taken over by creep, but Dark hasn't expanded yet either. Dark doesn't have a second base to mine from, so should we argue that this is maybe still something of a plausibility, right? Where maybe, possibly, there is a way that this actually turns into MaxPax's game because Dark doesn't have the defense that you maybe should have at this point. Probes pulling again. We only lose a couple, so we're kind of rebuilding the ones that we lose every time here. So that's obviously absolutely a cute part of this. Probes going across and just going to be seeing the Voids continue to play the defense. I mean, they have to. That's the only thing you really have to defend with, to be fair. So, not really much else that you can do at the moment. Oh, weird little situation, man. Weird little situation. Kind of just a wild time. We're going to have Cannon, Void, all of this continuing up. So we've seen our Cannon coming through. He's going to be seeing our Void Ray still sitting here defending. And I mean, obviously, Dark is finally putting down his expansion as well, guys. We're finally seeing that expand coming into play. And that's going to finally make a bit of a difference, huh? One absolutely wild time so far. Going to be seeing our Oracle continue to come down. I mean, actually, if we could get some Oracle harassing, that would be quite nice, but obviously there's not really any guarantee of that being plausible or sustainable at the moment. Trying to get a bit of creep spread out in the main base as well. Again, still Dark just completely covering the natural of MaxPax, so MaxPax cannot really expand or anything. We're just coming across, trying to see what's going on. Just trying to keep an eye on things for an initial few moments. Just going to be having our Lings not being still gathering together. The Voids slowly are pushing their way out of this base, right? So slowly MaxPax has the chance to expand and to, you know, regain control of his natural at the very least. Cybercore's about to finish. A couple of drones still coming through. Big Beacon's going to finish up as well. I'm just going to be seeing the Voids getting pushed back away over to the sides. Voids want to come back through and just maybe try and be a little bit competitive here, try and put on a little bit of pressure. And see, Crypt Gym that gets hit by Revelation. Again, if you can just break out. I mean, you have to break out. If you don't break out, you're in serious trouble, obviously. That should, in theory, go without saying, right? feel like that shouldn't really need too much explaining. Just gonna see that fleet beacon is indeed about to finish up. So getting that completed, getting that ready to move on forward. It's a lot of Void Rays, and again with the Tempest, at least you can slowly chip away at the things that Dark has here without taking any damage yourself, so that's definitely got to be something. And we've seen the Stasis Ward set up on the high ground again. Tempest to slowly chip away at this. At this point, I feel like Dark's going to get too much control back, though, because obviously at this point as well, you're going to have, you know, Dark really back in control of his own... Yeah, really back in control of his own natural, you know, actually able to mine from there is obviously going to make a difference compared to what we have been seeing. Yeah, definitely imagining that that will have an impact on this. Queens in plenty numbers as well, so we're not going to see any issues immediately with the Void Rays, so they're not going to be able to deal damage that can't be dealt with or anything, so that's obviously pretty good news as well. Otherwise, then Dark maybe would have been in actually a little bit of trouble. Maybe that would have been a way for MaxPax to take a step back into this or so. And like I say, that's not turned out to be the case here. As you see on Tempest too, I mean, we break out of this base, right? We break out of this base, we break out of this creep spread, etc., etc., etc. But, yeah, what about actually going to deal some damage? I feel like MaxPax knows it's probably a bit too late for him to realistically go and just move across the map and to actually just say, yeah, I'm just going to move across the map and, you know, it's all fine, you know, I'm just going to go and, you know, kill him. Because it's too late for him to expand. He has to go. So, if he doesn't go, he's in trouble. He pretty much just has to go, right? There's no two ways about it right now. Queens are here, trying to make something happen. That's going to be seen with Tempest. I mean, there's just so many queens, and you don't need anything else but queens, to be fair, right now. It's a pretty simple affair. It's a pretty simple situation. It's just not rocket science. The queens kind of deal with everything that we've got going on right now, so yeah. Avoids, I don't know, Tempest. We'll try the absolute best here, but I mean, a weird game, obviously, with everything that's kind of gone on. But do you feel like in the end, we're going to have ourselves a pretty good kind of showing from Dog? Because, you know, this was not an easy situation to read and kind of deal with, and he really did prepare well. He didn't expand too slowly to his natural. He didn't do it so quickly that he put himself in trouble. So these are all important things to keep in mind, because they are all things that could have gone very wrong very quickly, were you not, you know, truly careful about it. So, yeah, Dark really handled this well. I mean, again, just not the kind of situation you usually find yourself in. A proxy hatch that doesn't quite do enough, and then you're kind of wheeling around trying to figure out the rest. No, not really in the slightest. Do you find yourself in this situation on a common occurrence? So, like I say, cool stuff from Dark. And again, just showing us why Dark is really good in these sort of situations and why he's so good at these kind of games. Because he is able and capable of just saying, yeah, you know what? Kind of feeling good, feeling like I can be a favorite here and just doing very well. So we've seen our little Tempest coming through and trying to do enough when we do finally have the Corruptors. So the Queens were very good at kind of, you know, defending in terms of finally cleaning this up once and for all. The Tempests, etc., were kind of in need of a... We were in need of the Corruptors just to help out right at the very end, but we get it, we do it, and that is going to give us the 2-1 here for Dark against MaxPax. Very fun match. Very exciting match, actually, and yeah, just kind of very cool. Like I say, always fun to see these two play against each other because they really are kind of